Welcome everyone to our class today where you will learn important English phrases. These are all phrases I use every day, natives use every day, and you can use every day as well. So as we go through these phrases, pay attention to the sentence structure, the vocabulary, and of course, the pronunciation. So let's talk about some work routine phrases you can use. How about this? I'm trying to get ahead of next week's tasks. I'll say it again slowly. I'm trying to get ahead of next week's tasks. Notice the keyword here, to get ahead. To get ahead. But there's something else that's very important about this expression because you need that additional preposition of when you include the noun that follows the object. So, of something. What's the something in this sentence? I'm trying to get ahead of next week's tasks. Now, notice that tasks belongs to week, which is why there's an apostrophe S. It shows possession. And notice that pronunciation, next week's tasks. Now, because there's a period here, I can pronounce this fully, tasks, sks, sks. So the SKS, that's a tricky sound, one to practice. Tasks, tasks. Repeat after me, tasks, next week's tasks. Now, if you're trying to get ahead of these tasks, it means that if the tasks are here and you're here, it means you're behind. So you want to be at the same level in terms of the deadline or the requirements, but that's not ahead. Ahead is here. Okay. So it means you want to make more progress than what is required. So this is a very important expression. You can absolutely use this every day. How about this? I'm learning English so I can get ahead. Well, I want you to notice it's the same expression, to get ahead. Here we have the modal verb can, which is why we have the base verb. But notice there's no of. Why? Because there's no object. It's just implied. Get ahead. Okay, well, let's say this is your career goal. And right now, you're here in your current career, and this is the goal for your career. Or your current confidence, and this is your goal. This is your current confidence, and this is your goal. Your current level of fluency, this is your goal, whatever it might be. Okay. So you don't want to just reach that goal, you want to exceed it. So in this case, it's not clear what it is, but it's most likely an important goal. I'm learning English so I can get ahead. Is that why you're learning English? If it is, put yes, 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 yes in the comments. And hello, Horatio. Hello, Renata. Woohoo. Yes, like this stream. Hello, hello. Let's try this. I'm trying to get ahead of the assignment in order to get raised. What do we need here? So in order to get a promotion or to get a raise. Okay, so you can say a promotion or a raise. You don't want to get raised. In that case, raised functions as an adjective. You want the noun to get a promotion, to get a raise. Raise means more money. Promotion generally comes with a raise, but not always. So a promotion is a higher job title, more responsibility. Most likely it will include a raise, but not always. It's not guaranteed, but a raise means more money. More money. All right. And like I said, yes, 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 if you're learning English so you can get ahead and show your support, like this lesson, subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson, every time I go live as well. And I have this free speaking guide for you. So you can go to my website and download it. In here, I share my best tips and advice so you have everything you need to get ahead. But if you're one of those committed students and you want results fast, well, then the best way you can get ahead is by joining the Finally Fluent Academy. So you can get my training, my guidance, and my support, and you'll become my personal student. So you can find the link to learn more in the description as well, or just go to my website. Now let's keep going. I usually start my day by, how would you complete this sentence? So everyone, I want to see your activity in the comments, okay? I usually start my day by, okay? I usually start my day by, here's mine, okay? I usually start my day by drinking a giant glass of water. I usually start my day by working out. I usually start my day by having a relaxing breakfast. So what about you? She said by playing games with an S or playing a game. I usually start my day by drinking a cup of coffee. Very nice. Very nice. And thank you so much, Ariel, for your continued support. I appreciate that so much. By drinking coffee. Replying message. Replying. You need a preposition. Replying to messages or my messages. By going to the gym, by listening. Oh, same thing. What are we missing here? By listening to a podcast, playing games, exactly, praying, walking. Very nice, everyone. Reviewing. By reviewing my vocabulary. Well, isn't that a productive way to start your day? Oh, this is my favorite. By kissing my wife on the cheek or on her cheek. Or you could say my wife's cheek, and you can make the cheek possessive to your wife. But yes, that's a great one. By doing some exercises, by sitting in meditation, or by meditating. You can use meditate as your verb. By meditating. Okay, everyone. Yeah, exactly. So meditating as the verb. Very nice. Wonderful. So in this example, because it's a work routine, okay, so this is how I start my work day, by checking my email. That is not how I start my day, actually. I start my work day by checking my students in the Finally Fluent Academy and helping them with their practice exercises. That's how I start my day. And on Tuesday, today, I start my day by going live because this is the very beginning of my work day. Okay, let's keep going. Let's touch base after lunch and see where things stand. Okay, so first of all, let's touch base. What does this mean? Let's connect. Let's meet. So more so connect, because meet sounds a little more formal, but connect, it could be just simply text, message, phone call. It could be a Zoom meeting or an in-person meeting, but it doesn't have to be. Touch base could just be send me a quick text message, okay? So that's why I said connect instead of meet. Let's touch base. Let's meet, let's connect after lunch and see where things stand. Okay, what does that mean? Where things stand. Where things stand. Where things stand, this means what the progress is or what the current status is. So not necessarily progress, what the current status is, okay? And usually we use this if there is a decision to be had or an action that needs to be taken and you want to connect to find out Has the decision been made? Has the action been taken? Is the client happy with the report? Does the client have any comments? So the current status, or to understand the situation better, where things stand. Okay, that's a good one. Now, because this is not the start of my day, I switched to T. So this is T right here. Okay, let's keep going. Not started. Because started is just the very beginning point. But where things stand is the current status wherever you are on the timeline. So if you have a very long timeline for a project, you can see where things stand at the very beginning, the middle, the end, or at any point of the timeline. So more so the current status. Yeah, exactly. It's more like updating what's going on. What's going on is a better translation. So current status, what's going on. I like that. Okay. So if you're planning a party, just using a casual example, if you're planning a party, well, there's lots of things you want to know about the current status. What's the venue? How many guests are coming? Where are we going to order the food? What's the entertainment going to be? What's the time of the party? So you might ask your friend or family member, where do things stand? Where do things stand? So they're going to provide information about any of the specific details of the party. How about this? I need to follow up on a few messages before the meeting. I need to follow up on a few messages. Okay, so notice here the expression is to follow up on. You need that additional preposition on when you specify the object, the something. You follow up on something. If you didn't have a few messages, you could just say, oh, I need to follow up. So if someone asks you, oh, have you received the comments from the client? You could say, oh, no, I need to follow up. I need to follow up on the comments. So here, if you follow up on something, it means that you continue a conversation that was previously had. So if you had a first conversation about the comments, and then you have a second or third or fourth conversation about the comments, then you're following up. So you're continuing a conversation, but on the same topic. Okay. It can't be you're just having a different conversation. It has to be on the same topic. So you might follow up to find out where things stand. What's the current status? Hello, hello, welcome. It's so great having you here. And oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Honestly, I don't know where I got this, but I really like it too. I get a lot of comments when I wear this. Exactly. I need to follow up on the comments. How about this? We should stay on top of the deadline so nothing gets delayed. First of all, let's talk about to get delayed. Now, notice your verb is get, which is conjugated because so nothing, that would be third person singular. So nothing gets, that's why we have the S, delayed, delayed. So delayed functions as the adjective because get is the verb that you conjugate. So nothing gets delayed, delayed. A soft D at the end, delayed, delayed. We should stay on top of the deadline. So if you stay on top of the deadline, it means that you need to monitor it closely. You need to make sure that every day, every meeting, every time you look at your to-do list, you're thinking about the deadline, you're planning the deadline, you're making progress. Yeah, Mirik, it's similar to keep an eye on, because if you stay on top of it, it means you are keeping an eye on it. So they're very similar. In certain contexts, you may choose one over the other because you might say, oh, I need to keep an eye on the oatmeal on the stove so it doesn't burn. Perhaps you could say stay on top of, but certain times you might use one or the other. But yeah, they have a very similar meaning. We should stay on top of the program so nothing gets delayed. Exactly. So stay on top of and then something. So your verb is stay, which is what you conjugate, and then you need on top of something. Yeah, to follow thoroughly. I like that. Absolutely. We should stay on top of Everest. Yeah, because there's so this is funny, and it is funny. Good job. Because with expressions, sometimes there's the figurative meaning, which means to follow thoroughly. This would be the figurative meaning. And then there's the literal meaning. So if this is the mountain, Everest, this is the top, and stay means remain. So it's like saying you don't want to fall off the mountain. You want to stay on top of the mountain. So that's why it's funny. Good job. I like that. Yeah, monitor it closely, watch it closely so you make sure it gets done, or it whatever it, there may not be an action of getting done, but make sure that whatever needs to happen happens. Very nice. Yeah, exactly. On the peak of the mountain. I like that. Okay, that timeline works for me. This is an important expression. Make sure you take a screenshot of it or write it down. So it's not that timeline. You can replace this whatever you want. It's something works for me. Now, works with the S because that timeline is singular, third person singular. So it works for me. Okay, this is a must know expression. So if I ask you, oh, do you want to have dinner at 6 tonight instead of our usual 6:30? Sure. That works for me. That works for me. And that represents having dinner at 6 instead of 6:30. So anytime someone suggests something, you can show your agreement by answering, that works for me. Now, that if they mentioned a singular concept, okay? So that works for me. That works for me. Sure, that works for me. Let's move on to personal appointments. Do you have any personal appointments coming up? I actually have a personal appointment this week. I didn't give any examples about it. I have to get my teeth cleaned. So every 6 months, I think, I have to go to the dentist to get my teeth cleaned and checked. And I'm doing that on Thursday. So that's my only personal appointment this week. What about you? Do you have any personal appointments? If you feel like sharing, let me know the topic. Mine's the dentist. I have to go to the dentist. I have to get my brain cleaned. Well, that would be an interesting one. Maybe in the future, there'll be something like that. Okay. So you might say, I'm getting my hair done next weekend. So, this is commonly what native speakers say. And you can absolutely say, I'm getting a haircut, or I'm getting my hair dyed, I'm getting a trim. You might be more specific about what you're doing to your hair. But you can also just say, I'm getting my hair done. Done. Okay. I'm getting my hair done next weekend. In addition to hair, is very common with nails. I don't get my nails done. I never have in my life, but I know many women like to. So I'm getting my nails done tomorrow, today, next weekend, whenever the time reference is. I'm getting my hair done. I'm getting my nails done. I don't think I can't think of, oh, you could say I'm getting my eyebrows done. That's something that women do a lot. As for men, I don't know what men do. Men are pretty easy for maintenance. I don't think they get a lot of things done. I'm getting my nails done next year. Okay, plan ahead. I have to get my blood tested. I have to get my blood work done. Absolutely. You can say, I have to get my blood work done. So you use this when someone else is doing the action for you. I'm not doing my nails. The technician is. I'm not cutting my hair. The stylist is. I'm not taking my blood. The doctor or the nurse is. I'm getting my teeth done. You could say this. Someone would ask, like, what do you mean? Because there are so many different things you could do with your teeth. Like, are you getting them cleaned, whitened? Are you getting a filling? So there's a little more vague in that regard. I'm getting my makeup done. Absolutely. You can do that for sure. I'm getting my beard done tomorrow. There, finally, something for a guy. I'm getting my mustache done. There we go. Okay. So I'm getting my hair done next weekend. How about this? So in the context of getting my hair done, because remember I said you can be specific and say the activity with your hair, just like I said with the teeth is not specific, is also not specific with the hair. So you might be specific and ask for someone's opinion. Do you think I should go darker or stick with the same color? So that could be a question you ask a friend, your significant other, or you ask the stylist, because often you want the opinion of the expert. So you ask the person doing your hair. Okay? The person doing your hair, generally we call them a stylist. So you could ask the stylist, "Oh, do you think I should go darker or stick with the same color?" So instead of stick with, you could say, or keep the same color. Because if you stick with the same color, it means you're keeping the same color. Maybe I could go half and half. This side darker, this side the same color. Oh, that would be funny. Yeah. So exactly. So certain activities, you wouldn't say done, you would use a different verb. For example, I'm getting my car repaired next weekend. I'm getting my car washed next weekend. I'm getting my car detailed next weekend. Yeah, you could say, do you think I have to go darker? But just know if you use have to, it sounds like there's some sort of obligation, like there's a requirement for you. Now, maybe that is possible. Maybe your hair doesn't work well with lighter colors. So it's not easy to apply that color. So there is a requirement to go darker because you tried going lighter and it just didn't work. So it's possible that you would say, do you think I have to? But like I said, it sounds like there's a requirement. It's not just a preference. So hairdresser is almost like an outdated term now. The industry, the people, they refer to themselves as stylists. So that's just the terminology that they now use. a while ago, like maybe 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, you called them hairdressers. That was the terminology. But now it's stylist, 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 stylist. That's what they all say in North America. I can't speak to other areas, but in North America, they prefer to be called stylist. Yeah, I'm getting my coat dry cleaned. So you're not doing the action, it's being done by someone else. What's the difference between I'm getting and I getting? I getting is grammatically incorrect. So the sentence structure for the present perfect, or excuse me, the present continuous is subject, your verb to be, conjugated I am, and then your verb in ing. So I getting is grammatically incorrect. We have got our coat dry cleaned. You could say that. We've got our coat dry cleaned. Yeah, exactly. In North America, how about this? Oh, I like this. How do you feel about bangs? So this is something that the stylist could ask me, or I could ask the stylist, or I could ask my friend, I could ask my significant other, I could ask a family member, I could ask you. How do you feel about bangs? Now, how do you feel about? It means I want to know your opinion. So you might say, bangs, I don't know. That it seems like it would be a lot of work to maintain bangs. Or bangs, I don't know. That's a little 90s. So you might refer to it as being an outdated style. Or you would say, "Oh, I love bangs. You should definitely get bangs." And if you don't know what bangs are, they're it would be if I had shorter pieces of hair that either go across my entire forehead or they could be at the side as well. They could even be up to here. They don't have to be short. They could be about that length as well. So that's bangs. How do you feel about bangs? Now, if my stylist said this to me, it would be more of them suggesting that I get bangs. Maybe the stylist thinks that my face would really suit bangs and they want to know my opinion about it. And I would say, "Oh, I like bangs, but then I have to get them trimmed every couple of weeks. And that seems like a lot of work." Which is how I feel about bangs. What about you? How do you feel about bangs? And of course, it doesn't have to be bangs, it can be anything. How do you feel about a darker color or a lighter color? I don't know the term fringe. Maybe that's used somewhere else, but in North America, what I was referring to, we call them bangs, as far as I know. I love bangs. I go crazy for bangs. Yeah, exactly. But is it still in style? I don't know. Bangs, isn't that kind of 90s? But is it still in style? In style, in style. Yeah, exactly. So if you're thinking about where to eat this weekend or tonight, how do you feel about Indian food? Oh, I love Indian food, but I had it yesterday, so let's do something else. How do you like my new do? Well, this is difficult since my hair is up today and I don't have a new do anyway. It's the same old do. So, do, what is this in the context of our discussion? In context, remember, you always have to look at vocabulary in context. If this was the very first slide and I didn't tell you what the category is, A native speaker may not know what this means because vocabulary is always understood in context. Okay. So, do is yes, hairstyle, hairdo. So it's very common to use hairdo, hairdo. Now, natives love shortening words. So we just drop the hair and we use do. So, in the context of talking about your hair, if you say, "How do you like my new do?" then someone knows you're talking about your hairdo, your hairstyle. I like your usual do. Well, thank you so much because I generally don't change my hair. Yeah, your new hairstyle or hairdo. Hairdo. But same thing, hairstyle, hairdo. Oh, yeah. When you have curly hair, it's tough to have bangs. Absolutely. So that's a great. How do you feel about bangs? Yeah. So how do you like my hair? Exactly. How do you like my new do? How do you like my hair? Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's move on to gardening and yard care because this is a topical subject in North America. Topical means people are talking about it. Why? Because it's spring in North America. And of course, it depends geographically where you live, but many places in North America, spring is when you do a lot of gardening and yard care because over the winter, you don't have to do this because it's too cold and a lot of the plants and vegetation are dormant. But in spring, everything is blooming. So you might say, I desperately need to water the plants. So this is what I was thinking 2 days ago, but it was my plants outside. So then I checked my weather app, and the next day it was going to rain. So I didn't water the plants because, of course, Mother Nature is going to water them when it rains. And thankfully, it did rain because my plants desperately needed water. So I desperately need. Of course, it's saying I really, 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 really need. So if you want someone to understand, it's a very strong need. Say desperately, but don't use it lightly because there's a strong feeling in it. So if you're a supervisor and you tell someone, I desperately need that report, they're going to work really hard to get that report. Okay, so only use this if it's true that you desperately need the report. But in this case, I desperately need to water the plants. They were starting to go like this. They were starting to wilt, to wilt. Exactly. I desperately need to drink water. Well, I'm going to do that right now. I need to get the weeds removed from the garden. Okay. So remember, Natalia, and perhaps this is what you want to mean, that if you say get the weeds removed, someone else is doing it. So a yard worker. Now, without get, I need to remove the weeds from the garden. Then you are doing it. You can also use weed as a verb. And I'm pretty sure I have an example, but I don't use it as a verb. But I need to weed the garden. To weed means to remove the weeds. So that's the verb form. I need to weed the garden. Yeah, I desperately need to water the wilting plants. Absolutely. I desperately need to rest. Oh my goodness, I think you're late. You can't plant tulip bulbs now. I desperately need to plant my tulip bulbs this season. Don't you plant them in the fall for the spring? The tulips are already up in my area. We have a big tulip festival, which will be starting, I think, next weekend. is really beautiful. It's on the famous Rideau Canal, if you've heard of it. I desperately need to get a new car. You could say the new car, but it's specific. A new car is just any new car. Oh, we already saw that one. Yeah, so here's the verb form. I desperately need to weed, that's the verb, to weed the garden. Absolutely. Okay, let's keep going. Ah, you need to pull the weeds before they get out of control. So pull the weeds because that is the action that you do. You pull them out of the ground. So you can use pull the weeds. Pull is the verb, but honestly, it would be more common to say you need to weed the garden, so you could just say that. But here, pull the weeds before they, because they represents the noun. So the noun is weeds. You need to pull the weeds before they get out of control. Because if you don't weed the garden, yeah, today there's only 3 weeds. Tomorrow, there might be 4 weeds. A week from now, there are 20 weeds. That's out of control. Oh, yes, we that's where the tulips come from. So the Netherlands, I don't remember the story, but my city, Ottawa, helped the Netherlands in some way, like some royalty in the Netherlands. This was a long, long time ago. And then the Netherlands thanked my city, Ottawa, by shipping us a massive amount of tulip bulbs. And then those tulip bulbs are on display in this area. It is so beautiful. It's just all you can see is tulips. It only lasts for about 2 weeks, but it's absolutely beautiful. But they're from the Netherlands. I'm from Winnipeg, but that's the difference between being from and living in. So I said my city because I live in Ottawa. Also, I've lived in Ottawa for 13 years, so it certainly feels like my city. But Winnipeg is where I was born. So I guess they're both my cities. Okay. Can you trim the bushes this weekend? So you're asking your husband or you're asking the person who does lawn care for you. Can you trim the bushes this weekend? So just like you trim your hair, I wish I had my hair down today. So if my hair was here and you trim it, you just remove a small amount. So you can imagine you have this big bush and you just want to make it slightly smaller. Okay, so that's trim, just slightly smaller. I need to trim the hedge this weekend. Exactly. Yes, everyone loves tulips. Everyone is conjugated as third person singular, so you need loves, loves. I think everyone loves tulips for sure. Okay, this plant isn't doing well. It needs more sunlight. So this could be a plant inside or it could be a plant outside. So it needs more sunlight, then you're going to move the location of the plant. Now, notice this plant isn't doing well. It isn't doing well. So maybe it's wilted, or maybe the leaves are discolored. They're yellow, they're brown, they have spots on them. There's something about the plant. So isn't doing well, it means this plant is not healthy. This plant is not thriving, okay? This plant isn't doing well. This plant isn't doing well. It needs more sunlight. It needs less sunlight. It needs more water. It needs less water. It needs fertilizer, or it needs to be fertilized. Oh, here's the story. A royal baby was born in Ottawa, as it was in the Netherlands. The king sent a lot of tulips to thank the Canadians. Ah, okay. So a royal baby from the Netherlands was born in Ottawa. And I guess Ottawa made sure that the baby was healthy, or took care of the baby, or helped with the birth, of course. And then to thank Ottawa, the king sent a lot of tulips. Thank you for sharing that. I knew it was something to do with royalty, but I wasn't sure what it was. So thank you. We can transplant this plant into another place where it has more sunlight, or where it gets more sunlight, or where there is more sunlight. So you can use there is more sunlight to represent the existence. Right now, you can see the sun coming into my window, which isn't doing very well for my lighting here. So transplant this plant. If you transplant a plant, it means you dig the plant out of the ground and you move it, and then you dig it into a new location. So you move the plant. Yeah. We can transplant this plant into another place where it gets or has more sunlight, or where there is more sunlight. Oh yeah, my flower, or my ring, is a flower. I love flowers. I think most of you know that. How about this? We should plant something low maintenance along the fence. Okay. So certain plants are high maintenance. Certain people are high maintenance. Do you get that joke? If you describe someone or something as high maintenance, it's a negative. It means that that thing or that person requires a lot. So has a lot of requirements just to be maintained. Okay. Now, if a plant or a person is low maintenance, it means that they don't have a lot of requirements. So it's easier to maintain that plant or your relationship with that person if there are not a lot of requirements. So I think, for example, roses, I've heard that roses are very high maintenance. They need a certain amount of soil, of light, of water, of fertilizer. So that would be my understanding. Roses are very high maintenance. Other plants, you just put it in the soil and forget about it, and it will grow no matter where it is. So that would be low maintenance. So along the fence, so if you have a fence going like this, well, then you would put the plants here. And those plants will just, you can plant them and basically forget about them, and they will grow. Yeah. Plants that need little care. Exactly. Low maintenance. I'm a low maintenance person. Well, that's generally a positive. High maintenance plants give us headaches all the time. It's not worth the time and effort in a simple home garden. Exactly. I definitely will only plant low maintenance things. How about this? I don't mind mowing the grass tonight. Okay. So what's the verb here? The verb is mow, mow, mow. And it's in the ing form because it follows the expression I don't mind. So I don't mind plus gerund. Okay. I don't mind driving you to the airport. I don't mind making dinner. I don't mind picking up the groceries. So we use this to, great job, everyone. Mow, mow. And exactly that's the conjugated verb. Yeah. And to mow means to cut. So you can say, I don't mind cutting the grass. I don't mind mowing the grass. Excuse me. Either one is fine. I don't mind watering the plants. So we use this to accept a job or task, but one that maybe there's some effort or some work involved. So the person might feel like, are you sure? You know, asking someone to drive you to the airport, that's a pretty big task. So if you want to show the person that you're not inconvenienced in any way, you're happy to do the task even though effort or work is required, then you can use the expression I don't mind. I don't mind mowing the grass tonight. Yeah, you can use the lawn or the grass. Exactly. So you can use cut or mow, and you can use the grass or the lawn. You could even use the yard as well. A mowing machine is called a lawn mower. Lawn mower. Now, most North Americans will just drop the lawn and say mower, mower, mower. It's a thing that mows, a lawn mower. Oh no, the lawn mower's broken. Oh, so a lot of lawnmowers in North America are gas powered because you can't really have a plug. I mean, lawns are pretty big here. So you would need a really, really long cord if you had an electric mower. So a lot of people have gas powered mowers. So you might say, oh no, the lawnmower's out of gas. Oh, did you get gas for the lawnmower? Oh, I totally forgot to get gas. I'm currently mowing the lawn. That'd be pretty funny, actually. Oh, I don't mind watering the plants once a week, but I do mind watering them every day. And notice this student used the emphatic form of the present simple. I do mind watering them every day. Nicely done. Yeah, I don't mind working late. So there's effort involved, but you're happy to do it. You accept the task. Mowing is not my cup of tea, which means you don't really like it. Let's move on to neighborhood small talk because in spring, because in North America, a lot of people are outside in their lawns doing lawn work. So it's a good opportunity to talk to your neighbors. You see a lot of people more so in the spring and summer compared to the winter. It's nice to finally get some sunshine. So, this is what I said to my neighbor the other day when I saw him. I said, oh, it's nice to finally get some sunshine. So, of course, you would change this based on whatever the weather is. Maybe you really wanted rain for your yard and for your plants. So, you can say, oh, it's nice to finally get some rain. Now, some just makes it sound more natural. It's nice to finally get sunshine. It just doesn't really sound the way that a native would say it. So some just represents an unquantified amount of some sunshine, some sunshine. So sometimes if you're inside all day working at a computer like we all do, you might say to your colleague, "Oh, let's go for a walk. We need some sunshine." Or you say to your husband or your roommate, whoever, you say, "Oh, let's have lunch outside. We need to get some sunshine." How about this? Looks like we're getting some rain later. So if you are outside and there are a lot of dark clouds or just a very high level of humidity, you might say to your neighbor, "Looks like we're getting some rain later." So this is the same as you're predicting that it's going to rain. So looks like you're predicting, "Looks like we're getting some rain later." And then your neighbor might say, "Oh, yeah, we need the rain for the plants. I know my plants are so dry. Some of them are even wilting." Yeah. And then the conversation will just naturally progress from there. Is that a new car? So if you want to just start a conversation with a neighbor and you can see their house, you can see their property, you can just make a general observation. Is that a new plant? Is that a new tree? Because we were talking about gardening. Is that a new lawnmower? Is that a new car? So you can just make a general observation, even if you don't even think it's true or you have no idea what car they normally have. You just make a comment and then the conversation will start from there. Is that a new truck? Exactly. Yeah, to get the ball rolling. Exactly. Is that a new jacket? Absolutely. Did you get your hair cut? Is that a new hairdo? Is that a new shirt? Is that a new jacket? Absolutely. Just a general comment. Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely if there's a new pet. Is that a new puppy? Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Is that a new jacket? Yeah, I bought it on a spring sale. Oh, wow. Where'd you get it from? Was it a good sale? Did you get anything else? So then you just keep having a conversation about the jacket. Sure, it's probably going to be a boring conversation overall, but you get to know your neighbor a little bit better and maybe it will progress to something else. Yeah, looks like appear for sure. Your yard looks great. What kind of flowers are those? So the best way to start small talk with anyone is just compliment. You don't have to compliment their appearance. You can compliment their yard because most likely they put a lot of effort into maintaining their yard. Even if they don't do it themselves, they might pay a lot of money to have someone else maintain their yard. So your yard looks great. What kind of flowers are those? Or how often do you mow your grass? Or did you do this yourself or do you hire someone? Just any question you could ask as well. Here's a good one. So if you're talking to your neighbors, do you know who moved into 215? So in North America, houses have numbers. They have a number and there's also a name of the street. Okay? So the name could be anything. Now, if you're talking to your neighbor and you're on the same street, then you don't have to use the name of the street. So, do you know who moved into 215? That's the specific house with the address 215 Cherry Lane or whatever the name of your street is. So, this house was for sale. It sold. Someone moved in, which means someone else is living in the house. So you have not met these people and you want to know if the neighbor has. So this is a little bit of neighborhood gossip. So you want to know how houses are selling, how much they sold for, who moved in, what do they do? Have you met them? Are they nice? Do they have kids? Do they have dogs? So, neighborhood gossip. Do you know who moved into 215? Well, we don't have time for another category, so we will end it there. How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's the name of an excellent book. It's a very good book, everyone. Good fences make good neighbors. This is a common expression. Do you know what it means, anyone? Good fences make good neighbors. It represents the idea that if there's a fence, you have privacy. So if you and your neighbor don't have any privacy, then you might have a bad relationship. But if you have privacy, then you can have a better relationship because you can maintain your own personal affairs. You don't have to constantly see or talk to the other person. You can decide when you want to talk to them, when you don't. So good fences make good neighbors. That's cute. All right, everyone. Well, that is the end of our class today. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, you can get this free speaking guide where I share my best tips and advice. So you can just go to my website and download it. And also, if you are ready to finally become fluent, to understand natives, to use the same expressions that natives do, if you want to get my personalized support, you can get that in the Finally Fluent Academy. You can learn more in the description as well. And put yes, yes, yes in the comments if you enjoyed this lesson. Fences are so important. Exactly. Yeah, they like to see each other when they choose. They don't want to be forced to see each other because if you're outside and your neighbor is outside and there's no fence, you're required to see each other. You're required to talk to each other, or else it's a little bit awkward. And then you feel like, oh, I just see this person all the time. I want to go outside and not see this person. And that's the importance of a fence for privacy. Woohoo! So glad you enjoyed the lesson. It was fun. I enjoyed it as well. High five. Thank you so much, everyone. Awesome. And I will see all of you in the next one. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.